Hey friends, and welcome to this brand new video dedicated to Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. Today we're diving into a truly intriguing topic: the new families of characters arriving in the final chapter. That's right! Thanks to the recently discovered registered trademarks, we now know that new groups of characters, families, will debut in Chapter 5. And in this video, we're going to analyze who they might be, what clues we have, what role they could play in the story, and how they might connect to the characters we already know. But that's not all. We're also going to talk about a mysterious family that was mentioned back in Chapter 4. A family that, if you remember well, appeared in a very particular section of the game, and today we'll try to understand whether they will finally show up in Chapter 5 or not. In short, we're in for a journey full of mysteries, hidden connections, and really interesting theories. And before we jump into the full analysis, I have a quick but important favor to ask. Leave a like on this video, because it helps me a lot in bringing more content, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, so you won't miss any upcoming updates on Poppy Playtime and all our deep dives. With that said, get ready! In today's video, we're going to look at all the newly registered families, their possible roles in the story, and we'll also analyze that mysterious family mentioned in Chapter 4. This introduction is packed and full, because Chapter 5 might bring an enormous amount of new characters that could change everything. Now let's not waste any more time, and let's jump right into the analysis. Let's start with the family that was mentioned in Chapter 4, because this is where the most interesting connections begin. In Chapter 4, we had a very brief but significant encounter with Pianosaurus, a character who, despite appearing for just a few seconds before being taken out by Doughy the Doughman, left the community with tons of questions. His unique design, a dinosaur with piano features, immediately made fans think he might belong to a larger group of similar creatures, and in fact, during the exploration of the game, we found official Playtime Co. documents that confirm exactly that. Pianosaurus was never meant to be a standalone character. The company had plans to create an entire line of hybrid toys, combining dinosaurs with musical instruments. This revelation sparked a huge wave of theories. Some people theorized that in Chapter 5, we might finally encounter a whole family of mascots similar to Pianosaurus. It all seemed perfectly in line with the creative style of Playtime Co. But there is a problem. Unfortunately, this theory might not be accurate. If we carefully analyze the registered trademarks linked to the characters of Chapter 5, there is no name that references dinosaurs, musical instruments, or similar hybrids. Nothing that suggests the arrival of a music-sauric family in the final chapter. That's why, at least for now, we're forced to set this theory aside. It doesn't necessarily mean it was abandoned forever, but for Chapter 5, there seems to be no trace of other members of the Pianosaurus family. Anyway, Mob Entertainment could surprise us with something, but at the same time, it opens the door to an even more intriguing question. If we won't see the musical dinosaurs, then which new families are actually coming in Chapter 5? And that is exactly what we'll explore in the next part of the video. Now let's talk about the families that appear directly in the registered trademarks. This is where things get really interesting. Among the official documents, we find the names of two completely new families, the Smiling Critter Survivors and the Wrongside Outimals. These two groups were registered separately, which means they could represent two distinct toy lines, and most likely two groups of characters we'll encounter in Chapter 5. Let's start with the Smiling Critter Survivors. In Chapter 3, we were introduced to the original Smiling Critters family, a group made up of 8 characters, each with a cute yet unsettling design. However, in the actual game, we only met Catnap and Dog Day, while the others appeared only as mini smiling critters, small animated mascots but not full-sized ones. This led many people to ask a big question. Are there other versions of the Smiling Critters? Maybe a new line produced by Playtime Co? And the answer, based on what we know so far, could very well be yes. The name Smiling Critters Survivors clearly suggests a variant of the original group. It might be an alternative line, an updated version, or even toys that survived some kind of incident or mysterious event inside the factory. This would open the door to new designs, new personalities, and above all, new threats. And we can't forget an important detail. The Smiling Critters were among the most beloved characters in the entire series. Their impact in Chapter 3 was huge. They became instantly iconic, and they won over a massive portion of the fanbase. And when something works that well, it's very unlikely that Mob Entertainment won't bring it back. That's why it's extremely likely that in Chapter 5 we could truly encounter new smiling critters, maybe more dangerous, more corrupted, or with a completely different aesthetic. The smiling critter survivors might be the answer to this idea, a new family, darker and creepier, ready to debut in the final chapter. And this is only the first of the 2 registered families, because the other one, the Wrongside Outimals, hides an even bigger mystery. So, let's dive into them next. Now let's move on to the second registered family, the Wrongside Outimals. This name is definitely one of the most mysterious trademarks we've found, and for now, we don't have any official confirmation that it actually represents a family of characters. However, by analyzing the name carefully, we can build some very interesting theories. The word Outimals immediately suggests the idea of stylized animals or creature-like mascots, while Wrongside hints at something reversed, distorted, or created the wrong way. Just the name alone evokes an unsettling image. Mascots that look familiar but have details that are out of place, intentionally incorrect, deformed, or altered. And that leads us to a logical conclusion. The Wrongside Outimals are very likely a group of mascots, which means we can consider them a brand new family in every sense. What's interesting is that, unlike the other families we've encountered so far, such as the Smiling Critters or the Nightmare Critters, this new family's name does not contain the word critters. And that's an extremely important detail. It likely means that the members of the Wrongside Outimals won't share the same style, proportions, or design direction as the critters. Their design will be something completely new, a different artistic direction, a group with its own identity and its own theme. And this idea becomes even stronger when we consider that among the registered trademarks we found many new names. That's why it's very likely that these names represent the members of the Wrongside Outimals, a new toy line with its own unique aesthetic and an important role in Chapter 5. And now here's the most exciting part. We're getting close to December. And historically, the Mob Entertainment team has often released artwork, images, or announcements during the month of December. So, it's possible that in the next few weeks, we might finally see one of these 2 new families, the Smiling Critter Survivors or the Wrongside Outimals, revealed to the public. In short, the surprises might be just around the corner. And with that, we've finished analyzing all the character families that might appear in Chapter 5 of Poppy Playtime. Now all we can do is wait for the next few weeks. December is just around the corner, and Mob Entertainment could reveal something important at any moment. Whether it's a teaser, an artwork, or an official announcement, one thing is certain. Chapter 5 is shaping up to be one of the most character-packed entries in the entire series. So stay tuned, because as soon as there are any updates, I'll bring them here to the channel right away with analysis, theories, and connections, as always. Thank you so much for watching this video until the end. You are truly amazing. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming content about Poppy Playtime and the world of horror games. Bye bye, and see you soon.